You might be taking 3 common vitamins each day without knowing they could gradually weaken your legs and threaten your ability to remain independent. While the idea that more vitamins equal better health is widespread among older adults, the truth is that not every supplement is good for you. For seniors, especially those over 60, some vitamins can actually do more harm than good if overused or taken unnecessarily. Specifically, these 3 vitamins may contribute to muscle weakness, increase the risk of fractures and falls, and lead to permanent mobility issues. Let's break down which vitamins are involved, why they can be problematic, and what alternatives you should consider. First, let's talk about the silent muscle weakener, vitamin E. Long promoted as a wonder supplement, is popular among seniors aiming to boost their vitality. Known for supposed benefits to heart health, skin, and anti-aging, it's viewed as a ticket to long life. In reality, vitamin E, the very supplement intended to protect health, might be quietly reducing the ability of older adults to live actively because it's fat-soluble. Unlike water-soluble vitamins such as vitamin C, vitamin E accumulates in the body over time, getting stored in the liver and fatty tissues rather than being flushed out. Too much of it can gradually begin to interfere with essential body processes, especially muscle strength and coordination, particularly once intake exceeds 400 IU a day, which is a level not uncommon in many over-the-counter supplements. At first, the effects can slip by quietly. A bit more trouble getting up out of a chair, a moment of dizziness after turning too quickly, feeling drained halfway through a simple trip around the grocery store. It's easy to chalk this up to getting older, quietly reassuring yourself that nothing is seriously wrong. But sometimes, the real problem lurking beneath is far more serious and even preventable. There is research showing that excessive vitamin E can disrupt how nerves and muscles talk to each other, breaking down the metabolism inside muscles. For older people who are already fighting off slow but relentless muscle loss, this interference is especially cruel. Gradually, legs weaken. First, a slight reliance on furniture for support, then maybe a cane or walker, until one day, even that isn't enough, and life shrinks to a few rooms, a chair becoming the only safe place. High doses can also make blood thinner, something especially hazardous for seniors already taking blood thinners. This brings more bruises, a higher chance of unseen internal bleeding, and the ever-present danger that one simple, clumsy fall could become a catastrophe. There are no red flags or warning signs as these changes advance, just a quiet, steady decline that feels both unexpected and irreversible. These changes creep in slowly, often camouflaged as the cost of growing old. Countless unsuspecting seniors keep swallowing their daily pills, unaware that each dose might be quietly eroding the very foundation of their movement. This isn't about sowing panic. It's about dragging hidden dangers into the light. Flesh and bone can only withstand so much. Equilibrium is fragile. What's harmless for a 30-year-old might turn sinister for someone past 70. That's why blindly and routinely taking supplements as age advances could prove catastrophic. There's a question nobody wants to ask, but perhaps everyone should if you've been popping vitamin E without a doctor's guidance, especially in high amounts. Is it nourishing you or slowly draining your vitality? And if something as innocent seeming as vitamin E could sabotage your strength, how many other everyday supplements might be quietly sapping your independence right under your nose? But vitamin E is just the beginning. Move on to vitamin A, and the shadows deepen. It turns out that the very pills meant to keep bones strong and muscles firm can, behind closed doors, bring weakness. It's a threat that doesn't announce itself, lurking, patient, within the trusted tabs meant to guard your health. These are the same nutrients hailed for boosting immunity, protecting skin, and sharpening vision. Yet there's a silent peril beneath that reassuring surface. So, what have these supplements been doing to you all this time? For years, the wisdom about vitamin has seemed unshakable, a quiet expectation that it guarded the promise of healthy aging. It found its way into pills and potions, swallowing up caution in the belief that if a little was good, more might be better. But beneath this reassurance lurks a subtle threat. As bodies grow older, they lose their tolerance for error. Muscles fail to heal, bones thin into hollow echoes of youth, organs move with the sluggishness of entropy. What makes vitamin A different from other nutrients isn't just its necessity, but its insidious persistence. Unlike some vitamins, it refuses to leave when unneeded, instead settling deep within the liver and soft tissues, accumulating dose by invisible dose, always just out of sight. With every spoonful of cod liver oil, every multivitamin, every fortified food. It gathers in silence until the quiet turns sinister. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of this slow saturation is what it does to bones. Research points to a grim link: a steady erosion of bone density, carving away at legs and hips, those fragile supports on which our independence balances. The peril grows with each unnoticed escalation, rendering an ordinary stumble capable of shattering autonomy in the frail. But the skeleton isn't the only target. Muscles, too, are sapped of the power that steadies and lifts, leaving once reliable bodies vulnerable to the smallest slip. Beneath the routine of daily doses, a shadow waits, one that feeds on misplaced faith and overindulgence. For many older adults, walking becomes increasingly difficult. They might notice fatigue in their hips or thighs, nagging discomfort, or their legs just not feeling as strong anymore. These symptoms are easy to brush off, since pain and tiredness are often accepted as part of getting older. But what if age isn't actually to blame? What if the routine morning supplement you trust is actually causing more harm than good? Vitamin A toxicity doesn't make itself obvious. It doesn't shout warnings, but rather whispers, quietly affecting your body over time. Maybe you've realized you spend more time sitting, stairs seem tougher than before, or you find yourself turning down a walk around the block because it feels like too much effort. Slowly, these little adjustments add up, quietly changing your routine, confidence, and sense of independence. No supplement should be taken lightly, especially as we reach our 60s, 70s, and beyond. Our bodies and needs continue to change, and something that was once beneficial could slowly start to work against us if we're not vigilant. If you're taking vitamin A regularly, especially alongside other supplements or fortified foods, it makes sense to have a thoughtful conversation with your healthcare provider. Ignoring these signals can come at a higher cost than you might expect. If even vitamin A, the one so often praised, can quietly erode the strength in your bones and legs, what about the other vitamins we take without a second thought? Especially when added to a diet already flooded with supplements or fortified foods, the consequences of letting things continue unnoticed might end up weighing heavier than anyone expects. If vitamin A can chip away at your foundation, what are the chances the vitamins meant to give you energy and mental sharpness might also betray you? Take vitamin B6, for example. It lurks quietly as a risk that seldom crosses anyone's mind: nerve damage, numbness, and a slow, creeping loss of control in your legs, all from a nutrient you thought was helping. It usually starts subtly, a strange tingling in your toes, something you might dismiss as fleeting, but it doesn't stop. The odd sensation climbs, leaving your steps unsteady, your feet dull to sensation, your own legs beginning to feel unfamiliar and distant, as if they belong to someone else. It's easy to blame old age, circulation problems, or diabetes for such changes, but sometimes the real culprit isn't so easily seen. It might be the very vitamin you depend on as a safeguard for your mind, your energy, and your independence. Multivitamins, brain boosters, energy pills. So many rely on vitamin B6, celebrated for supporting metabolic health and the nervous system. It's offered as a promise to the elderly, a way to stay present, active, and alert. Yet hidden in that promise lurks the possibility of slowly losing touch with your own body and never realizing the cause until it's too late. Most people don't realize just how sinister vitamin B6 can become when taken in excess, especially over long periods. It quietly turns toxic, targeting the nerves in the legs and feet, and the damage it's capable of doesn't necessarily fade when you stop taking the vitamin. Unlike other water-soluble vitamins that the body harmlessly washes away, B6 lingers at high levels, often exceeding 100 mg daily, a dose easily found in common supplements. At this intensity, it begins to disrupt the nervous system, garbling the very impulses that allow you to move and feel. The fallout, peripheral neuropathy, is not just an inconvenience, particularly for older adults. It's life-altering. The world starts to feel distorted, your own feet betray you, balance evaporates, staircases seem to twist beneath you, and the simple act of walking becomes fraught with fear. Social withdrawal follows. In the worst cases, that sense of creeping unease turns into permanent damage, as nerves don't always repair themselves. Weakness, numbness, a slow unwinding of independence. These linger in the shadows long after the supplements are gone. There's a particular cruelty in seeing autonomy, a lifetime's dignity, slowly stripped away, leaving activities once taken for granted tinged with dread and loss. A well-meant but damaging habit can take everything from you. Excessive B6, instead of boosting vitality, might actually rob you of your confidence, safety, and physical abilities. This isn't a rare or fringe issue. It's now a growing concern among older adults, who sometimes assume anything labeled as a vitamin is automatically safe. In reality, even vitamins demand thoughtful and cautious use. At one moment, something that energizes your life could, unnoticed, do harm later on. After taking a closer look at the hidden risks of vitamins E, A, and B6, it becomes clear that the real danger lies in the belief that more is always better. The mindset itself often does more damage than the supplement. Yet, there's more to this story. Each day, seniors may lose strength in their legs because of another major factor. Not a vitamin, but a common lifestyle habit. One even more often overlooked. So, what does this mean for you personally? Lists and warnings about vitamins are less meaningful than considering what this truly means to you. Someone who has weathered change, conquered challenges, and gathered a lifetime of experience. Please share your question with me. As our bodies shift and morph over time, what we once trusted as harmless routines or healthy habits can quietly turn against us. That urge to protect your health, it isn't weakness. In fact, you're likely here because you're desperate to hold on to your strength and autonomy. But beneath the veneer of your daily rituals lies a colder truth. Those supplements you swallow with your coffee, the ones folded carefully into the fabric of your mornings, could be silently chipping away at your balance and leg power, eroding the independence you battle to preserve. You probably won't notice the change at first. It begins as a small, unexplainable pause before stepping down a curb, a fleeting spike of effort just to rise from a chair. The elevator beckons more often. Not because you're unwilling, but because your legs feel unsteady, unreliable. Little by little, your days narrow. Activities fall away. The world outside your routine starts shrinking. Soon, your life is organized by what you can no longer do, rather than by what you desire. Your body, patient and cruel, acclimates to this slow surrender. Muscles waste away, bones hollow. The risk of falling and losing everything gathers in the background like a storm. These changes creep in, not as the aftermath of illness, not even as a verdict of old age, but as something far more insidious, the gradual betrayal of what you once believed would help you. Sometimes, even the kindest intentions can unleash unseen consequences when you stumble ahead blind. No one thought to warn you that too much vitamin A could quietly erode your bones. No one whispered that vitamin E, taken in excess, might leave your legs unreliable and weak. And nobody bothered to mention that swallowing dose after dose of vitamin B6 for energy could numb the very nerves that carry you forward, until you can barely feel the ground beneath your feet. Now, at last, you see what was hidden. But this revelation isn't just another weight to carry. It's a sharp tool in your grasp. The truth cuts through the quiet danger, a danger that you can still avert. Your choices, once shadowed in ignorance, are yours again. Every pill, every promise of health, holds a cost. You can choose to scrutinize what you swallow, to challenge your doctor's easy answers, to heed the warnings etched into your flesh. The hour isn't yet too late. The damage not yet sealed. Each day you hesitate, the threat grows heavier. Your steps, your independence, the fragments of dignity you cling to, hang in the balance. Pause if you dare, and look closely at every habit, every ritual that seems innocent. The decisions of today whisper into tomorrow's fate. Your future is not yet carved in stone, but the chisel is in your trembling hand. Listen to what your body begs you to notice, before silence settles in for good. Think about what you consume each day, because the choices you make now will shape your health down the line. They set the direction for your future. On the topic of tomorrow, there's another reality to face. Most of us don't give sedentary habits and extended periods of sitting the attention they deserve, even though these can be far more damaging than taking the wrong supplements. That quiet routine built into daily life might be undermining your well-being faster than any vitamin ever could. So, where do you go from here? The real question, the one you need to wrestle with, is what should you actually do with this information, now that the facts are clear? How do you protect the life, strength, and independence you value? The real power doesn't come from guilt or fear, but from awareness. All change starts with being conscious of what's happening. It's not about undoing past choices, but about using your current understanding to make smarter decisions starting now. The immediate priority is to take a closer, more thoughtful look at any supplements you're using, not out of anxiety, but with intention. Maybe you've kept that bottle in the bathroom cabinet for years. Ask yourself, have I ever truly considered what's inside? Have I checked the dosage or questioned if I still need it? Please think about it and let me know your thoughts. Marketing terms like anti-aging, cognitive boost, or supports heart health sound convincing, but your body is unique. What works for someone else might not work for you. Accurate information is especially important as you get older. Even substances considered beneficial, such as vitamins, can lead to subtle but long-term issues if taken in excess. It's wise to work with a physician who has expertise in aging, rather than relying on typical health advice from someone without geriatric training. You deserve more tailored care, a conversation that covers your age, medications, diet, and lifestyle. Ask your doctor specifically what your body needs and what it doesn't. Understanding your current health requires more than basic blood work, so consider asking for a complete nutrient panel, including vitamin levels. These results give clear answers about any imbalances, excessive storage, or elevated levels in your system. The goal here isn't to be perfect, but rather to catch potential problems early before they become deeply rooted and harder to fix. Most importantly, your body thrives best on real nourishing food, not just supplements. Aim for a diet of whole, unprocessed meals to satisfy your nutritional requirements whenever possible. Lean meats, ancient grains, raw vegetables, and natural fats. These aren't just good choices. They're the last true medicine left in a world where illness waits patiently for any slip. Supplement bottles whisper promises, but they're shadows compared to a deliberate, vigilant diet. Nothing about taking control signals weakness. Instead, it marks a line you draw in the sand, daring disease to cross it. It shows you value your own strength, refusing to let ordinary mistakes steal the bones and sinew you've earned through years of survival. You have come too far, endured too much, to let subtle enemies dismantle what's left of your autonomy and independence. Still, there's a darker threat you might not see, one that creeps in not through what you eat, but in the silent hours you spend still. Even with perfect nutrition, there's an unseen adversary at war with your legs and lungs, the habit of sitting, the quiet rot of inactivity. Most people surrender each day without ever realizing it. Your fate, your very future, may be more tightly webbed to your movement, or lack of it, than anything you swallow. Let us pull back the curtain and confront what moves and what waits in the shadows of your routine, because time teaches with scars, and every moment you stay still, something else grows stronger. After more than a century spent wandering through the shifting landscapes of joy, loss, and survival, I can tell you with certainty it's not illness that quietly stalks the edges of our health in old age. The real danger lies in sinking into the belief that decline is simply fate, a whispered sentence passed down the years. I've watched too many friends shrink into shadows of themselves, surrendering to frailty as if it were unavoidable, never daring to investigate the invisible currents that pull them under. I've witnessed fiercely independent souls unravel, their autonomy stolen not by catastrophe, but by the unnoticed slip of taking a pill each day. A tiny harbinger masquerading as help. I'm speaking to you, not as some distant expert, but as someone who has felt the slow, encroaching dread, the quiver of weak limbs before a staircase. The icy question echoing, would the next stumble be the last? I clawed through that shadow, and I'm here to jolt you awake, not cradle you in fear. You still command choices. There remains a dwindling but real power in your hands. Most crucially, the clock hasn't snuffed out your last chance to defend the sanctuaries of movement. Your legs, your balance, your fragile freedom. Everyone craves longevity, but rarely do we pause to ask, what is a long life worth if it's lived in fear and frailty? Gulping down every new elixir, chasing empty promises. These won't save you. Salvation lies in the vigilant, listening to your body's whispers and the stark lessons only age delivers. Will you answer me? It means questioning routines that no longer serve us and having the courage to change direction when something feels off. I share this because I genuinely believe that aging doesn't mean we become powerless. Even if we move a bit slower or notice some gray hairs, our choices remain significant. Your health isn't gone. It's still unfolding, and the freedom you'll have tomorrow depends on the strength and decisions you make today. Don't put things off. You're still steering your own life. So stay alert, make thoughtful choices, and continue with assurance and resilience. Getting older isn't a loss. It's an opening to a new kind of strength, one that relies more on wisdom than quickness. Still, even with years of experience, it's easy to overlook subtle things that can wear down our well-being. Not every risk announces itself. Some slip in disguised as helpful habits or decisions made with good intentions. Sometimes, It's as simple as relying on a supplement out of habit instead of understanding. Now, you're aware. At this stage, your body deserves careful attention. What matters isn't more pills, but more mindful choices. Your balance, confidence, and leg strength aren't just matters of physical health. They're linked to your overall well-being. You know now that your body asks for attentiveness, not just more medicine, but more conscious decision-making. You're not just losing muscle or balance. You're watching pieces of your independence slip into the dark. Every weakening step, every falter, is a reminder that your body and confidence, once sources of quiet pride, are fracturing. The world, with its simple joys, the spontaneous walk, the soft laughter of children, the rare solitude of self-reliance, begins to close in, doors creaking shut behind you one by one. This isn't merely a story of physical decline. It's the unsettling emergence of awareness, that chilling edge where clarity slices through denial. The night grows thicker, the moment you realize what is fading, but it's also in this darkness that you might seize a thin, sharp thread of control. Watch every decision, interrogate your habits as if you are searching for a hidden trap. Seek counsel that acknowledges the scars you carry and the secrets nestled in your bones. Remember, the path forward is not about frantic resistance or shallow hope. It's about facing what haunts you and staring it down with whatever strength remains. Let the wisdom of old wounds and hard years be your armor. I'm asking you now, confront the shadows. Tell me one hard lesson you refuse to surrender, one you want to carry into this twilight. Speak it. Let's bleed some truth together in this cold and echoing space. If this video reached you, leave 1. If emptiness remains, leave 0. Your words still matter here. If you want more darkness, subscribe, like, and share.